All right, guys, welcome back. So, we have another amazing panel, and we are going to be discussing having ETFs and implications. But before we get started, I would love to kick it to our amazing panelists and have them briefly introduce themselves and say hi.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Olienka Odenoran. I am the Executive Director of Black Women Blockchain Council, which is a nonprofit organization that's created to provide education to the Black community about blockchain and Bitcoin, as well as crypto and everything about Web3.
Great day. Great day, great day, great day, everybody. My name is Michelle Lilly, and I am the CEO of Tokenized Assets. I'm also a cryptocurrency educator. I have a master's degree in blockchain and digital currency. One of the first women in the world and the first Black woman in the world to hold that degree. And so I'm excited to be here.
Oh, I think it's working now. Thank you. Hi, my name is Leonardo Miller. It's a pleasure to be here. I am an advocate for crypto for many years. I've seen the last Halvening, and glad to be back in the new Halvening. And it's exciting to see a couple of new faces and also a representation from the world here. Everybody comes from a different place, and this is the place where innovation really happens. So it's glad to be back.
I love it. Thank you guys so much. We're going to kick off the conversation with our first question. How does the halving impact Bitcoin's energy consumption?
Well, there are different emission factors that goes into energy consumption that must be considered when looking at KPIs of where the world is going in terms of green energy. And we cannot govern that with some form of regulatory policy that is blanket for everything that's going on in the market. We want to see more players that are looking for sustainability long term. And the halving is a start to that because it's a survivor's market. It's, the people that can survive will, and the people that won't.
Yeah, and just to keep it simple, I'll keep it real simple at a basic level for those out there, is that it actually is going to take more power now. So we're going to have to do something because of the halving in order to produce the supply.
I would also say that I agree with what they said, but we also lose sight of the fact that Bitcoin is not the only energy consumption usage that's out there. I mean, we have the financial institution, right? And the financial institutions, they use up a lot of energy. But oftentimes they don't have conference like this talking about the energy summit, they don't even focus on that. But we're the innovators that's actually bringing all kinds of ways that we can improve the energy consumption, and we're actually leading the charge. So I think it's going to be beneficial. I mean, the financial institutions are going to come in with ETFs, which we're going to talk about later. But at the same time, we're sitting at a summit right now that's coming up with so many creative ways of how to reduce energy consumption. Like I took notes, we talk about thermal energy, right? The hydro, right? And so much more that is being considered. I think this is the most thoughtful, ecosystem when it comes to energy.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mohammed. I am the founder and CEO of Jonta Power. We're a clean energy company that's trying to provide affordable, clean energy while using very little space for the industry.
Thank you so much for joining us. All right, guys. How might Bitcoin ETFs influence market sustainability post halving? Loaded question.
That's a loaded question. So repeat that again so I can address
How
that
might Bitcoin ETFs influence market sustainability post halving?
Well, because when you have institutional money like the ETFs that from Fidelity to BlackRock and all the other 11 that had the approved Bitcoin ETFs that come into the market, it allows for a I'm lack of a better word right now, but it like normalizes or puts kind of like a floor to it,
Sure.
if you want to say. And so it's going to, versus it being so volatile. I still think we'll see some volatility. That's just the nature of Bitcoin. I always say Bitcoin is like a woman. She can change her mind whenever.
Oh, Bitcoin has an attitude.
Whenever they want to. But I think because of it, it gives consumers and retail investors, it gives them a sense of confidence. And it gives other institutional players a sense of confidence as well to bring their funds and so forth into the market. And so it's going to create some sustainability that way, is the way I see it.
You mentioned it first, not me, but it's nice to see more women in the crowd and also taking a vital function in Bitcoin.
Woo! Ladies in here, give it up.
So I currently am a management consultant, and I see the supply in the ETFs booming. You're looking at an influx of $12 billion in the last year since it's been inaugurated. And I'm not representing the stock exchange or any type of New York City regulatory body, but it is the council happening in Miami for XRP. All that has an impact on what we're doing towards sustainability. We can't be distracted by the memes and the things that are causing others to lose money, when here the discussion is much more positive. How can we save the earth? How can we measure waste and measure sustainability long term?
Sustainability is also coming from different countries getting involved and creating their own ETFs. We have Hong Kong that's creating their own ETFs as well. I think, to piggyback on what Michelle said, that, opening the spot for retail investors is going to be huge when it comes to ETF. Historically, for the past, 5+ years, the financial institutions have been dying to get into this space. Now they have a regulatory way of getting into this space. And so now, they have clients that have been waiting for them to be able to buy it. And so the sustainability will definitely come from that part.
Absolutely. I agree with you. How does the halving affect Bitcoin's role in renewable energy adoption?
Yeah, I'll take that. So basically, if you wanted to keep the same amount in terms of how much you're mining, you would need double the energy, basically, right? So there just is a bigger demand for electricity. And so every time that we have an event like that, the energy needs are going to go up, right? That's kind of maybe one of the differences between Bitcoin and AI. Whereas AI, we might see like a regular base load demand for every data center. For Bitcoin, it's going to increase every single time. And so the more it increases in difficulty, basically the more energy you need in a very small space. And so part of kind of what we're doing is seeing how we can solve that problem in terms of packing as much power and energy so that people can have it as close as possible to them and as cheap as possible. So,
yeah, well said. Every halvening seems to be a great big reset and a new opportunity, but also a time of concern. Interest rates are at an all-time high. It's a scary time where mining supply has gone up, and this is the opportunity to buy that equipment. But if you're looking for cutting-edge technology and you're looking to go overseas, we have the tax credits here to build that infrastructure. And welcome.
Thank you very much. I was literally enjoying my lunch with an incredible table with the previous panel, actually, which was fascinating discussion about gold and Bitcoin. Your question was
we're on the question of how does the halving affect Bitcoin's role in renewable energy adoption?
Okay, so we have so many experts on that panel who can talk about energy and the actual Bitcoin mining. I would touch a slightly different aspect of it, if you don't mind.
Of course.
Which is taking a bit of a perspective on Bitcoin, let's remember that Bitcoin is the king of crypto. And I know that the maxis don't even want to call that crypto, right? It's Bitcoin. The entire crypto universe is looking at Bitcoin. And if you look at what happened on Halving Day, it felt like Christmas for everybody. There were halving parties everywhere. And even people from completely other blockchains were having parties,
Yes.
right? When it wasn't about them, it was about Bitcoin, right? And for me, that was striking because I didn't see that in the previous halving. Nobody cared about that. Expect the miners. It was a technical thing and price, impact. So I want all of us to consider where we are at now in this epoch, right? And the attention that is given to Bitcoin and the importance that of that wave on everything else that drives the entire narrative of crypto, right? What we want, all of us here, and especially if you're a miner, you want to see more mining, more fees, right? More activity on the network. The only way to get that is to have billions of people adopting Bitcoin. And they're doing that. I mean, you've probably seen your fees going up because of the ordinals, right? And the runes and the meme coins, right? So my point here, and I don't want to take too much time for that first question, but is that the massive impact is now everybody's paying attention to Bitcoin, not only because price goes up, not only because BlackRock and ETFs, is because it has an impact on everybody else, and it becomes something that's not just for the few who see that as a fight for freedom and financial sovereignty, but much more than that. And I hope that's going to attract the other billions of people that we want to bring in.
Thank you so much. I want to touch on our last question and bring it back to ETFs. How do ETFs contribute to or detract from sustainability?
I mentioned before allowing retail investors to be able to purchase or participate in Bitcoin in a way that they feel that it's safer. So I think it brings that more familiarity to them because of the investment aspect of it. So that's the way that I feel that sustainability will be through ETF.
I think that, so I'm an educator as well. That's my passion. And so I educate people on how to invest in cryptocurrency. And I think the ETFs with the sustainability, it shines the light to the whole cryptocurrency market. And it also shines the light, for the reason I mentioned education is because now people are curious because of ETFs that have come out. And they're curious about what is this Bitcoin thing, for those that have no clue what it is. With the Ethereum ETF, what is this ETF? What is this Ethereum thing, and what is smart contracts? And so it brings where we can then educate those that have been curious but have blown it off in the past because they thought it was a bunch of degens that was just in the crypto market. And now it brings credibility. When you have institutionals and these ETFs that have come into the market, it brings credibility. And so people now are curious enough to start even getting educated about what Bitcoin is and what the purpose of it is, how valuable it is, and so forth. And understanding the network and all of that, because ETFs have come to the market. And so that then brings sustainability, because now when people are educated, they now are more encouraged to participate in the market.
Very well said. I would piggyback off that and say that if you look at the halvening of 2012, for example, Bitcoin was around $12. And now we're looking at a $66,000 coin, north of that. And that's significant growth. And sustainability and growth are not the same. So New York has been an advocate for green listing coins, and there's a couple of coins only on that list. A lot of people don't like the regulation, but Bitcoin is on that approved list. So if you are a Bitcoin maximalist, then you get to operate freely. But a lot of the other coins are getting away with inflation by copying and pasting code that is not sustainable to the financial system. So we want to be careful of that in the future that we'll build.
I think for a market, volume almost always equals sustainability. So the more that we have a trade volume for Bitcoin, the more sustainable it is. The more diversified you have that volume as well, the more sustainable it is. And I actually see a unique opportunity for Bitcoin to be a store of value for energy, right? There's a lot of times where energy supply doesn't meet energy demand, especially for renewables. And I could see a time where we're basically producing energy and mining Bitcoin at times where we're producing surplus. And that's basically a way where energy doesn't go to waste. And you don't depend on the grid basically for that. So again, from the sustainability standpoint, it's definitely a positive.
Yeah, I think that we have to look at the word, at the definition of sustainability in a broader perspective, which is not only environmental sustainability, but also from a society perspective as well, and from a wealth perspective. I think Bitcoin it's essentially energy that's stored in form of value and wealth. And I wouldn't call it necessarily money, because money can be fiat, and that's not money. That's not sound money. But also, if we look at the thousands of blockchains around, and let's set aside the notion of energy consumption, are they really sustainable from societal perspective and economical perspective? Is debatable. How many of those tokens and cryptos will be around next year or 10 years from now? Because they're not supported by a planetary consensus that this is what we as humans trust, that this is a store of value, first of all, and a perfect way to convert unlimited energy that we have on this planet into something that we can exchange among us. So I think that's the perfect definition of what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is sustainability.
Thank you for that perspective. Panelists, that's all the time that we have for this panel. Our time is up, but if you wouldn't mind, please let everyone know where they can find you before we close it out.
I'm on Twitter. It's Mihai C. Telegram, the same. MIHAIC.
And yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. My first name is Mohammed, and my last name is Njai, spelled Njie. So you can find me there.
You can also find me on LinkedIn, Leonardo Miller.
LinkedIn, Michelle Lilly.
You could find me on LinkedIn as well. And also my website is my first name, last name.com.
Please give our panelists a round of applause. They were amazing.